Alright, so this is the second video of our EMG video series tutorials. On this computer we are going to be working with Delsys, or in the EMG Works system. So Delsys is the completely wireless electrode that is taped to the arm with the inline electrodes placed on the arm. So the first thing that we will do is you will click on the EMG Works acquisition, which is already here. And the first page that you will actually go to that will populate is this page. This page is the test configuration manager. Now here you see there are a bunch of different configurations for the EMG electrodes. Based upon your test and your question, your project, you will have an individual one, or if you're just piloting some data like what we are doing here, you can basically select any test configuration that you would like. So for this one we will double click on test configuration 2, or test configuration 1, excuse me. And then the important thing to pay attention to is over on the left side you will see all of the sensors that are paired or that work with the system. Currently we have the right biceps brachii, and to change that, if we want to, you would click on sensors, and then in the middle of the screen you would click existing sensors, and any of these sensors you can click on and drag to whatever part of the body we want. So if we wanted to do a forearm, a pec, anything that we wanted to, we could just drag it and drop it. Since I'm already prepped for the right bicep, we will just keep it there. And after we get done with dragging and dropping all of our electrodes to the specific locations, it's important to click on the plot and store underneath experimental workflow, or experiment workflow, excuse me. This is where we're going to tell the system what EMG electrodes we want data collected from. So now we'll click on plot and store. That opens up this dialog box where we can check the boxes for the sensors that we want. Now, since we only have sensor 4 collecting any data for this tutorial, we will uncheck everything, make sure that right biceps brachii is checked, and then we will click Start Test. Now there is also a dialog box that pops up here, and as we spoke about in class, if you're actually doing this for a research project, you'd want to enter in your participant number or your participant name and all of that information. Once again, since this is a tutorial, we don't need to worry about it, so we're just going to keep this at run number 36. And we will click OK. And then from here, we would just come down to the bottom right and click Run Task. Alright, so before we start the task, I want to reiterate that these are the snap lead EMGs, so they basically just snap right onto the electrodes, and then we tape the accelerometer body, the electrode body, to the limb. Due to the lack of space here on my upper arm, I had to kind of configure this one a little bit differently. This would obviously not be ideal for any sort of real data collection with the electrode, but once again, since this is simply a tutorial, this will be just fine. Okay, so this is where this is the screen that is going to show our EMG signals. So you'll see here on the left we have our EMG data, and then since we have accelerometer data from the accelerometer, that is going to be over here on the right side of the screen. You can get rid of the accelerometer screen if you would like to, but it really doesn't do any harm or hindrance to this. So now to start the test, you will come down to the bottom right, or the bottom left, excuse me, and click the Start button. And when we do that, we will once again see changes in the electrical impulse in the bicep as I'm contracting and relaxing. So the big peaks, we have contractions, where you just see small squiggly lines, I am relaxing. Now once we're done collecting, we will come back down to the bottom left and we'll click Stop. And then it gives us a nice picture of our EMG data. And then just because we've got it, there's also the accelerometer data here as well for the exact same movement, temporally aligned and everything. So that is how we collect data in EMG Works. All right, now that we've collected our EMG data, what do we do with it? Well, we can't really do much here. So what we have to do is we have to click on the application button of EMG Works, and then you want to click Export to Analysis. This will pop up this little dialog box, and it's asking us what export test run we want to export. And if you look over here to the right, we'll see that we were run number 36. So we will scroll all the way down until we find run 36, click that, and then where are we exporting this to? This is going to tell us the file path that this information will be found in. So we click the little ellipse button, and we want to choose a file. So here we're going to go to Kin 743, we're going to double click, and then we will click EMG, and then we'll click OK. And then back at our main dialog box, we have the file path, we have the test, so now we can click OK. Now it doesn't tell you anything that it was completed, so you just have to trust it, which with some of this technology may not be the best bet, but that's all right, we'll go with it. So now it'll open up EMG Works Analysis. So this is a fairly boring looking page, but once we pull our data in, it's not quite so bad. If there's anything up here in the data manager, you can just delete it. It's not going to help us at all. So once that's deleted, we can open up our file. So you make sure that we go to the right file path. We will find run number 36. We will double click that. And yes, you can go ahead and add it to the workspace. So now, it doesn't show us much, but if we come up to data, here's run number 36. This is what we've collected. And if you open up all of the boxes, it'll show you that we have data for EMG, accelerometer in the X, accelerometer in the Y, and accelerometer data in the Z plane. Now, we don't care about the acceleration, so what we're going to do is we're going to right-click on the EMG, and we will just go ahead and click Plot as Subplots. And now it'll plot for us nicely. We see the increases in electrical activity and the decreases in electrical activity when nothing was happening. Up here to our data file, or our data window, we need to expand this initial run, so run number 36. We'll click on this guy, our run number 36, plot and store underscore rep underscore 1.7. Then we'll click Tools, and we can either export to a text file or export to Excel, whichever you're more comfortable with. Whatever program you're going to be analyzing in, you can do that. So if we just want to export to Excel, here it is. So it will just open up in Excel for you. So we have a time, we have EMG data, we have accelerometer data in the X, Y, and in the Z. And then there are corresponding time values for each of those as well. All right, and when it opens up into Excel, what you can do is you can just save this document to a flash drive, to a Google Drive, and then you are ready to rock and roll with your analysis. Once again, these are tutorials for Delsys EMG and Noraxon EMG collections in lieu of the debacle that we had Monday afternoon with these systems. If you still have questions about them, please don't hesitate to ask me. I would gladly help you out. Once again, thank you very much.